It has been a year like no other. Here in Irving, we have worked to keep people safe while still moving forward with big projects. This is an example of one of them, Levy Event Plaza, and we're celebrating in a big way.
We're about to have the longest ribbon cutting in the history of the city of Irving.
It's exciting.
One of the coolest things I've seen us do in a long time.
We are socially distanced,
Getting creative
and showing innovation in the way we're trying to do things.
It's a way we can be together today for a stronger tomorrow, and it's the perfect way to kick off the State of the City.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 2021 State of the City, produced by your 5-star Greater Irving Las Colinas Chamber of Commerce and presented by TXU Energy. I'm Sam Reed, Chairman of the Irving Las Colinas Chamber of Commerce and President and owner of Alpha Graphics Irving Las Colinas. Today's program will be an opportunity to learn more about the great developments underway and opportunities that lie ahead in our award-winning community. Certainly this year was like no other as our community, businesses, and residents navigated challenges of a pandemic and economic downturn. Despite these obstacles, Irving Las Colinas is continuing to persevere through relief programs for small businesses like mine to funding for child care and rent assistance. Our community continues to come together and even grow. It's all in part to the hard work of the team at the City of Irving. Mayor Rick Stopfer, Irving City Council members, City Manager Chris Hillman and his team, the Irving Economic Development Partnership, led and managed by Beth Bowman and her team at the Greater Irving Chamber of Commerce, as well as Maura Gass and her team at the Irving Convention and Visitors Bureau, and Hammond Perot and his team at the Las Colinas Association. The instrumental commitment by private business industry, such as my company, Alpha Graphics, has also aided in the ability to building a stronger community. Thank you to everyone involved in the partnership for your leadership. We'll look forward to hearing more about the accomplishments a little later in the program. Now, let's check in with the Chamber's President and CEO, Beth Bowman. She's at the Irving Convention Center. Good morning, Beth.
Thank you, Chairman Reed, for your leadership. I welcome you today from the Irving Convention Center at Las Colinas. For the past decade, we've had this signature program, State of the City, here. While we wished we could again gather in person together, this ongoing health crisis prevents us from doing so. However, we look forward to returning to the Irving Convention Center at Las Colinas for the 2022 State of the City. As Chairman Reed mentioned, what a year it's been. 2020 was full of surprises and opportunities, and our community came together to support our businesses, residents, and one another through a challenging time. On behalf of our 52-member board of directors, 2,000 member investors, and their 220,000 employees, we appreciate each of you joining us today to reflect on 2020 and to look forward to what is bound to be a brighter 2021. I'd like to recognize some of our elected officials who were instrumental in navigating the pandemic and subsequent economic downturn this past year. Thank you to our Irving Mayor, Rick Stopfer, and our Irving City Council members, Councilman John Danish, Councilman Alan Meager, Mayor Pro Tem David Palmer, Councilmember Phil Riddle, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Kyle Taylor, Councilmember Oscar Ward, Councilmember General Al Zapanta, Councilmember Mark Zepsky. I want to acknowledge Councilmember Dennis Webb's work and leadership serving the City Council and the entire City of Irving for the past 9 years. We also want to thank our business industry who have stepped up to support our community and our five-star chamber. Thank you to today's presenting sponsor, TXU Energy, specifically Kurt Morgan, President and CEO of Vistra Energy, and his entire team, including our moderator today, Brad Watson. Our premier sponsors, Mercury One and Populous Financial Group, and our gold sponsors, the City of Irving and Flowserve Corporation. Our silver sponsors, Atmos Energy, Citi, Baylor Scott & White Medical Center Irving, Freeze and Nichols, Inc., Las Colinas Association, and NEC Corporation of America. Our bronze sponsors today, Alpha Graphics, Irving Las Colinas, Boyle & Lowry, LLP, Capel ISD, DART, Dallas County Utility and Reclamation District, DFW International Airport, Gridliance, Holt Cat, Irving Flood Control District, Section 3, KDC Real Estate Development and Investments, Keurig Dr. Pepper, Linebarger Attorneys at Law, Encore, Pioneer Natural Resources, the Plastronic Socket Company, and Toyota of Irving. We also want to thank our media sponsor, Dallas Business Journal, and our community partners, Complete Land Sculpture, and last but certainly not least, Dallas College North Lake Campus. Again, thank you to our business industry, our stakeholders, our educational outlets for sponsoring today's signature program. Former Prime Minister Winston Churchill said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts." That certainly is an interesting perspective that closely ties to the successes and struggles of 2020. However, under the leadership of our 52-member board of directors, who day in, day out work together to achieve great success with our five-star chamber team, I believe it's been a year of great courage. Together, we have done more to support our incredible community, our businesses, and our workforce. These efforts include celebration of our healthcare heroes with donated meals, gear, and swag items to our two hospitals, Baylor Scott & White Medical Center Irving and Medical City Las Colinas. We also hosted a small biz blitz, visiting 1,000 small businesses in a socially distanced fashion to say thank you, offer our support, and leave a resource box. Additionally, we were fierce advocates for relief funds and federal assistance, a critical need for both our businesses and residents. Thank you to our board of directors for your continued efforts and vision as we power progress for Irving Las Colinas. I'd also like to thank the City of Irving staff, led by City Manager Chris Hillman, for their hard work and tireless commitment in the face of adversity and the five-star attention you provide every day to our business community, their workforce, and residents. Finally, I'd like to recognize the working team for the 2021 State of the City Signature Program that's been putting this program together over the past 6 months. Thank you to our City Secretary, Shanae Jennings, and Krista Evans, our city's corporate communication team, April Reiling and her team, as well as the Irving Community Television Network, ICTN. I want to thank each of you for your hard work and partnership on today's program. I want to give a special thanks to Portia Washington and Annabeth Gruber, our Chamber signature team under the five-star leadership of Erica Mulder. Today, we officially kick off the Chamber's 11th annual Best in Irving Awards nominations. This is your opportunity to choose the best of the best, those Irving Las Colinas businesses who have demonstrated excellence. There has never been a more important year to recognize the incredible work and perseverance of our small businesses. You can do your part. In addition to shopping local, online voting opens this afternoon and remains open until March 16th. Cast your ballot to recognize those small businesses that are critical to our community. You can find the online link to the ballot in the chat box. Now I'd like to invite the Honorable Mayor, Rick Stopfer, to present the Mayor's Corporate Award of Excellence, which recognizes one of our outstanding businesses in Irving, Las Colinas.
Thank you, Beth. Now I'm excited to present a special award to the corporation that is committed to our community. The Mayor's Corporate Award of Excellence recognizes a company or an organization that exemplifies excellence in the work it does, the service it offers, the contribution it makes to the community, and the commitment it provides to the city and its residents. In the past several years, I have had the honor to recognize several great organizations, including Toyota of Irving, NEC Corporation of America, and Keurig Dr. Pepper. This year's recipient has provided more than 50 years of service to the community. In fact, their site in Irving was the first facility built in North Texas. Over the last 3 years, the Irving expansion of this facility has generated $245 million in investment and created 315 full-time employment opportunities for our residents. Additionally, the company is committed to environmental stewardship. Their Irving facility sends less than 1% of the waste to landfill and leverages improved LED lighting technology, waste heat recovery, and compressed natural gas. This year's recipient of the Mayor's Award of Excellence is FritoLay. To accept the award is Laura Maxwell, Senior Vice President of Supply Chain at PepsiCo Foods of North America. Laura?
Thank you so much, Mayor Stopfer. It is such an honor to be meeting with you and to be receiving this award on behalf of FritoLay and more specifically, the amazing men and women at our Irving plant. You know, we opened our doors in 1967 when the city of Irving was really starting to boom. FritoLay's Irving plant has been an anchor in the community, helping the city and its residents create new opportunities for growth. Even as we speak right now, members of the Irving team are making delicious FritoLay snacks that will bring smiles to people in the local area and across the country. At the Irving site, we manufacture Cheetos, Doritos, Lay's, Tostitos, and many more. The site helps to produce more than 131 million pounds of snacks every year. And this location is so important to us. In the last 3 years alone, FritoLay has invested $245 million to expand our Irving facility and to enable snack production capabilities, creating 315 new full-time jobs and positively contributing to the local economy. And when we grow, we keep people and the planet in mind. Our associates are leaders in both areas. In 2020, our DFW employees logged more than 1,500 volunteer hours, even during unprecedented challenges. Additionally, FritoLay donated nearly 1 million bags of product to local organizations in need. We are also committed to environmental stewardship, sending less than 1% of waste to landfills and leveraging LED lighting technology, waste heat recovery, and compressed natural gas, all to help reduce our carbon footprint. This important work has garnered attention from other groups as well in the Irving community, earning our team top honors from Keep America Beautiful, among others. And now we can proudly add the Irving Mayor's Corporate Award of Excellence to that list. I speak for so many people in our company, and certainly on behalf of the amazing team members in Irving, in saying thank you for this recognition. We are deeply honored to receive this highly coveted award and so grateful to be a part of the community. Our partnership has made both FritoLay and the city of Irving stronger, and we look forward to many, many more years of working and growing together. Thank you.
Again, congratulations to FritoLay. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce our moderator for today, Brad Watson. Brad is the Director of Community Affairs at Vistra. Vistra is the parent company of TXU Energy and Luminant in Texas. Prior to joining Luminant in April of 2013, Brad worked as a television journalist. In his 34 years with WFAA TV, Brad anchored the station's top-rated newscast from 1992 to 2000. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Brad Watson.
And thank you, Beth, and good morning, everyone. I'm Brad Watson, Director of Community Affairs for TXU Energy, and once again, I'm honored to be here with Mayor Rick Stopfer of Irving. Mayor, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good to see you again as we talk about everything that's been happening in Irving over the last year, and it has been quite a year. That may be an understatement. As we talk about the successes and the many challenges, and look a little bit at the year ahead. We're here on a brisk morning in Irving, as you can tell, but we're going to have a lot to talk about how the momentum, even in spite of the pandemic, has been building in Irving. And let's start with the location here. We're at the Levy Event Plaza, and it is quite a location, and I would think that has a lot of potential that you're anticipating for the future as well.
Well, we're very fortunate to have NCH here and what they do within our community and the Levy family. And this is a real example of a corporation coming together and working with us to build something of this nature. They worked with us, specifically Walter, to dedicate this land so that we could have this facility. We've done a few events out here for the fireworks and other things of that nature, but we're excited to see what we can do in the future, and it's a real partnership. We also have the Las Colinas Association that will actually be doing the maintenance of it.
It's good to see, as I say, some progress here in a year that otherwise really has been dominated by the pandemic, with which we're all very familiar with, and now, and how it's changed our lives so much. Let's go back to about mid-March, when all this was cascading almost in real time, hour to hour, and we were all trying to get our heads around what we have to stop and pause. We have this great economy in Irving that's roaring, a regional economy in North Texas. The American economy was going well, and then all of a sudden it's like, slam the brakes on. So when did you really first grasp the gravity of what was going on?
Well, when we started talking about the pandemic and what it really was going to mean to our community, that's when I really started to think about the fact that how's this going to affect our businesses, how's this going to affect our residents, and how's this going to affect our kids? Because this is something that we've never lived through before, and we were being told bits and pieces. We really didn't know exactly what this was going to be, how long it was going to last. But my first initial thought was, how do we come together as a community?
You have the benefit of looking back on it now. How would you grade how Irving did with the city, businesses, community groups, residents, individual residents all coming together? You've got to be gratified with the response.
Well, it was amazing to me when we really were able to move forward with everything and talk to the businesses and talk to the nonprofits and talk to all the different groups and say, look, we're in this together. How are we going to weather this? Mm-hmm. And we put together some plans with how do we get food out into the community? How do we provide for education throughout the community? How do we provide for information to the public? So we did an outstanding job of communication, and I can't even begin to thank the businesses, both large and small, the residents and the nonprofits, the houses of worship, all coming together to make sure that people's needs were met.
You had questions coming in from the public as well, and that's really vital in a crisis situation, pandemic. Make sure that there's communication, it's transparent. So what'd you do? How'd you have to handle all the responses to those questions?
Well, we were very fortunate to have good communication that we have through our ICTN. You see they're here with us today, and they were able to put together videos and information and get it out to the public. And of course our websites were doing the same, and we did as much as we could virtually. We've adjusted to a whole new way of having meetings and things of that nature. We also have a young lady by the name of Winnie who answers the phone.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm proud of in the city of Irving is is you can call the city and get a person. You don't get a recording. And Winnie's the first line that answers the phone, and she did a tremendous job of making sure that people's questions were answered.
Well, a lot of personal dedication there.
Yeah, you know, there was so much information that was out there that we needed to get to the public, whether it was rent assistance, whether it was small business assistance, whether it was child care. And, you know, there was a lot of people that weren't understanding how important it was to do the basics, the masking up, the washing of the hands. You know, so there was a lot of just basic information that needed to be out there for the public so that they were aware. And again, we were able to utilize all of our methods to make sure that people were aware and were safe.
Let's turn now to a video that really expresses in visual terms the gratitude to some of the people and the organizations who rallied during the year to deal with the effects of the pandemic.
With sirens and lights from Irving's first responders, members of the Irving Economic Development Partnership teamed up with local businesses to offer a big thank you to frontline medical workers at Medical City Las Colinas and Baylor Scott and White Irving.
These folks are working tirelessly every day and every night to make sure our citizens are safe, that they're well taken care of.
And we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Along with the messages of gratitude, the supporters provided goodie bags and catered lunches.
We feel the love and support, and we appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
And when it came time to say thanks to the city's essential workers, a hotel prepared breakfast tacos for solid waste services employees.
There's no better feeling than to give back and to know that we're all in this together.
There you go.
And the city's Islamic centers delivered pizzas to the police department.
The least we can do is to give back to people who serve us every day.
Across the community, long lines of cars served as evidence of the need for help with food. The North Texas Food Bank and some local businesses stepped up to help meet the demand.
It's very rewarding because it's someone today and maybe us tomorrow.
It's really all about giving back to the community that'll give back to you when it's time.
And even as classes transitioned out of the classrooms, Irving ISD worked with the Irving Schools Foundation to keep kids from going hungry. The effort is ongoing.
The school district's been awesome. They've been giving our students breakfast and lunch, and then we're there alongside them handing out dinner bags.
The team at the Heritage Senior Center made sure Meals on Wheels continued to roll forward.
It makes me feel good because I feel like I'm doing what I can, for our seniors.
The Irving Convention and Visitors Bureau and Irving Convention Center opened the kitchen to Staff Meal, an organization providing meals to hospitality workers in need.
People need help, but people also need hope.
Hey Sam, how are you? Pretty good. Good, my name's Carl.
To help support the economy, the Irving Economic Development Partnership used its second annual Small Business Blitz to distribute supplies and resources.
Businesses really need to see us in the community.
Protective masks, hand sanitizer as well, and we also have some gloves.
The Irving Hispanic Chamber of Commerce offered PPE.
It's a financial stress on everybody.
And facilitated a grant program for small businesses.
COVID has put a lot of stress on small businesses, including ours, so we're all affected by what's happening.
We want our businesses to succeed, and we want them to survive this pandemic.
Those are just a few examples of people, groups, and businesses coming together to show support in Irving.
Oh, it's a huge sense of community.
We salute you. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Well, our conversation today is in part looking back at the year, but we also want to look forward, and the theme right now is Together Today for a Stronger Tomorrow. And that really does seem fitting, doesn't it?
Yeah, we are so fortunate to have everybody come together, and I think because of that, we're going to be stronger in the future. We're going to be able to deal with these issues, whatever comes our way. I think when you deal with an issue like this at this level, as the smaller things start to come to us in the future, we'll be able to deal with them even better.
Irving is a big city, right? So what kind of things, what did you have to do quickly, initially?
Well, the first challenge was to figure out how we were going to move forward, and to really get a benefit from that, we had to have a disaster declaration, which is something that I never thought as a mayor that I would be looking at or dealing with. But in order to really get the benefit of the dollars that we needed and to put our emergency management team out in front, we needed to declare that. And so that was very interesting, but it was very much needed to move us forward.
Yeah. Now, you had to implement some things that you normally don't do as well, like the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center. You had to get it up and running almost 24/7, right?
Yeah, and we've been fortunate as a city that we've been committed to working with during these type of challenges with the hurricanes. And so we've housed individuals, so our team had a good supply and they were ready to go. So we hit the ground running. It was just a matter of making sure we had everything on paper right so that we could take advantage of the dollars we needed.
And what about the day-to-day stuff for city services? How are they impacted? How are they continued?
One of the first things we did is we looked at the fact that this was going to affect us financially. So we had to really look and see what were our essential needs and how could we best utilize them. So we knew that our first responders, our police and our fire would be first and foremost. We knew that we still had to do the day-to-day business. We still needed our street crews out there. We still needed our water department out there. And we needed to figure out how we could communicate. That was really the key. And so we had to change some things at City Hall. We shut down basically the building to start with, and then we opened the first floor just for events that people needed to come in for, and it worked out well for us. But we all came together, we put together a plan, and it worked out well.
Well, there were some services that people use every single day that had to close down, like the libraries and the rec centers. Of course, you said you had to work with your essential employees, your police and fire. But that tough budget decision early on, you had to cut, what, 7 million plus from the budget?
Well, we knew that our dollars were going to start to dwindle. The sales tax would dwindle because businesses were shut down. We knew that the hotel motel tax was going to change because people weren't traveling. Business wasn't doing the business that they normally do.
Yeah.
So in order for us to continue to make sure that those individuals that were working had the dollars and the equipment they needed, and that the residents, the bond programs that we had put in place, we wanted to make sure that they continued.
Tell me a little bit about the importance of the Back to Business page that you coordinated with the Chambers of Commerce as well.
Well, one of the things that we realized as we first went through the COVID, everything was shut down, and then it was, okay, how do we make people realize that it's okay to do business again? Because we need to get those jobs back out there. People need to be paid, and businesses need to operate. So we worked through different organizations of our chambers and our ICVB to put together programs that highlighted the restaurants, that highlighted the businesses that were available so that people would know that they could go there, they could pick up food, and we also looked at delivery. One of the things with the governor's orders as to what percentage of the buildings could be utilized and what they could actually offer. The pickup service became very important to these businesses. And so we worked on that very closely with these businesses.
So there was a challenge of execution, coming up with plans almost on the fly, executing the plans that while you're trying to adapt. But the city also had to take on an important role of channeling these federal dollars that came down to the states, to the counties, and then to the city. And so you had millions that you had to parse out as well.
Well, and the challenge is always, as you said, it came through many different levels. The president extended it, then the governor extended it, and then the county extended it, and then we were the last recipients. And it was based on the population determined how many dollars you actually received. So us being a smaller city, even though we're a large city, our dollars were through the county. And so we got a percentage of that. And we did some partnerships with different organizations to get the dollars out there. There was money for small business, there was money for childcare, there was money for rent assistance, and there was dollars for food and things of that nature. So we had to set up some different programs, and we adjusted as we went along. One of the things we learned about small business is the one program did not allow for franchisees to receive dollars. So we implemented a program on our own and threw a couple $1 million in it for the franchisees within the city of Irving. So we wanted to make sure that all the businesses that needed the money, all the people that needed the rent assistance, they received it.
Yeah, about $6.25 million for economic assistance programs through the CARES Act right here in Irving. So that was helping a lot of the residents and small businesses. But delivering all those services like we were just talking about, it takes those city employees to do that. How were they holding up during all this, and how did you continue to give them support? So, they had to come to work every day for many of them.
Well, and again, I can't thank the employees for the commitment they make to the city of Irving. But, you know, our first thought was, how do we make sure that they're protected? How do we make sure that they're safe? Because delivering the services in a safe and effective way was extremely important. And so with the CARES Act, there were dollars that came in for overtime and things of that nature. So we made sure that they had the dollars that they needed for time. We also had dollars for equipment. So there were a lot of things that we did within the buildings that we had open. We put in different heating and ventilator systems to clean the air. We made sure that they had the best of equipment that they needed within our ambulances, within our fire trucks, and within our police department, making sure that these individuals had the proper attire and the proper equipment they needed to deal with the day-to-day work they needed to do.
Speaking of you know, city operations, you've got the big stuff too, water and streets. So how are they impacted? I mean, the city can't stop even though there's a pandemic underway.
Well, it was kind of interesting because a lot of cities came at it differently than we did. We did not stop our operations. We had money that was available for our bonds and improvements such as this park, and we continued to do that. We continued to use those dollars and move forward. And we have to provide water. We have to make sure that sewer is available. And we have challenges and we have bonds that are out there to move and put new water lines in, to put new sewer lines in and things of that nature. So we continued to do those things. One of the things that was interesting is because a lot of the cities that shut down their ability to go out and do work, people were doing their work for less. So we saw sewer projects that we projected to be $5-6 million come in at $3 and $4 million. So actually we were keeping people busy and we were saving money.
Okay, well, let's take a look in this video at some of these great infrastructure improvements.
This project on the Brockbank Channel is part of a $100 million investment over 5 years to improve Irving's drainage infrastructure. It's called Drainage Solutions for a Better Tomorrow.
It's important that we do it to protect people's property, and so that people are not worried, is my house going to flood this time when it rains?
Another $100 million over 5 years is going to renew and reconstruct Irving streets through the Road to the Future initiative.
The results are good, and we hear from the citizens when they choose to make Irving their home. Look at the neighborhoods and the quality of the streets. It's so important for economic development also.
At the top of the list is always essential services, but then amenities are why people choose to stay here.
And you're seeing the debut of one of those amenities. Levy Event Plaza will be the home to the 4th of July fireworks, laughs by the lake, and other activities.
With the benches, the park benches, places to sit, places to eat, beautiful grass, it's going to attract a lot more residents to this area.
To be able to have this an expansive type of venue, so people can come out here, sit, feel good, get the fresh air, look at the lake. I mean, we need that.
Also just completed an all-new playground at West Park, designed to offer something for all children.
When we did our master plan, inclusiveness was a big item for the playgrounds.
South Irving has 2 new trails. The Rock Island Trail runs mostly under the tracks for the TRE, so it offers the added benefit of shade. The Delaware Creek Trail connects Center Park with the Campion Trail at Mountain Creek Preserve. This construction is now complete and the trail is open. Federal and state funds paid for both of these new trails.
During this pandemic, we have not slowed down a bit.
Federal Community Development Block Grant funds are paying for the final phase of renovations at Center Park Recreation Center and a big expansion at Georgia Farrell Rec Center. That facility is getting a new second gym and much more.
It comes right on the perfect time. There's a lot of development, a lot more housing going in down there on Conflands, right off of 161. So those people we hope will be able to go in there and utilize the expanded space.
Underway right now, the construction of King Square Pocket Park in Bear Creek. And what is considered to be the focal point of downtown Irving? An expanded and renovated Heritage Park.
I think Heritage Park is going to be something that's going to set the tone for downtown.
When it opens later this year, it will have twice the space, an amphitheater with LED screen, and crews are carefully restoring some of the familiar features, including this caboose. In its first full year of operation, the Irving Golf Club turned a profit as people turned out to see what's new and enjoy a sport that can be played while social distancing.
It's been fantastic, hitting record days as far as the amount of business. It seems to be really exciting for Irving.
Well, let's talk about another very big project, which everybody really can see, and that is the signature bridge that spans State Highway 114. Anybody driving around out here can't miss that. The bridge connects the former stadium site to the land to the north side of the bridge. Tell me about the status of that as it progresses.
We have some great projects that are going on in our community, and one of them was when we redid the 183 and 114 intersection. There was two bridges in there, so we combined them from the old pedestrian bridge and the old vehicle and made one. And it's really interesting to see. Actually, the lights are on now, and so at night it's really quite a sight to see, and we're looking forward to all the development that comes along around it.
You still have 335 acres available, though, which is really extraordinary that in a large metro area like where we are in Dallas, Fort Worth, North Texas, you got 335 acres kind of right here in this central location with all this transportation infrastructure around it. It's got to be great potential.
One of the things that came out of this was that we were going to continue to build around the stadium site. And so the bridge was one parcel of it, and then the Diamond Interchange, or the Irving Interchange, whichever you prefer to call it, is the next phase. And that was supposed to be about a $420 million project. But because of the savings and the cost savings right now, we were able to come in at about $320 million. And so this truly will be a TOD when it's completed. You'll be able to move from one piece of the bridge to the other, either by bicycle or by walking or by vehicle. You have the DART rail system that runs right alongside of it, and it also connects into the Campion trails.
Well, what about access? I just alluded to the highway infrastructure around all of this, the highways surrounding the site, and you mentioned the Irving Interchange.
Yeah, what we really see is for us to move forward in this area, we've put in a TIF, and we've done an overlay district. We also have a flood control district within this area, so we'll utilize those dollars to expand the road system once TxDOT finishes with what they're doing. There's about $25 million worth of infrastructure needed on the Texas Stadium site just for a main spine road and some of the water, and so we'll continue to grow that area.
Another transportation project, I know you're really excited about this, and that is the Hidden Ridge DART station, and it's the 6th DART station in Irving?
Yeah, we've been fortunate to work with DART. You know, I use the word fortunate a lot because I believe as a city we are very fortunate. And DART, when we made the decision to bring the rail line through our city, we got commitments from the business owners who actually dedicated the land for the light rail system. So as they become developable, then the stations are built. And on this property, which happens to be Mr. Carpenter's ranch, the first phase was the Pioneer building, which came out of the ground. And so as part of that, the light rail station is being built and put in place. And we're probably about 60 days out from it being open.
Wow, that's incredible. That's something to look forward to in 2021. Let's move a little farther south in the city and talk about the reconstruction of Irving Boulevard in downtown Irving. That project is moving forward as well.
And again, that's a TxDOT project because Irving Boulevard is a state highway. So we've been working closely with them to return that road back to us as a city. And so the first phase of it is this 1 mile extension, which we have about $18 million to redo it. It'll make it a lot easier to get through those intersections. We'll be narrowing the road. We'll be putting in bike lanes. We'll be working with the landowners along there for street light improvements. All the areas around that will be improved because of it.
But let's pivot a little bit and talk about companies and the corporate growth here and what that's looking like as we look into 2021 now.
Well, first of all, I'm so thankful for the businesses that we have, and I know that they've had some real challenges, Brad, as they've gone through this. They've had to do the same adjustments we've had to do at the city level, only on bigger scale in many instances. But we're fortunate to have our 8 Fortune 500 companies and our 1000 companies and all that they commit and the employees that they take care of in our community. But we also have over 5,000 small businesses. And in the southern sector that we were just talking about, that's where a lot of the entrepreneurship starts. That's where a lot of the small businesses start and move forward. But we've had growth in all areas. Amazon just opened a new facility with 1,000 new employees. Microsoft is expanding their facility. And yet we have a new place that opened the other night that sells tacos in a gas station.
Hey, you gotta eat, right?
So there's a little bit of anything and everything everywhere.
Let's also talk a little bit about the partnership results. The Irving Economic Development Partnership. Of course, it's led by the Greater Irving Las Colinas Chamber of Commerce and their hard work. What about the partnership results there over the past year?
Well, we've been real fortunate to have Beth and her team over the years. They continue to be top of their game, well recognized at the state level, well recognized at the national level for all that they do to work with our corporations and bring new corporations here, but as well really take the time to understand what our corporations need, if they need to grow, if they need to expand, and how they can move forward. We're unique in the city of Irving to have an economic development team that is separate from the city, and this gives us the opportunity for those individuals to do business with other business leaders. I think that gives us a leg up when we're talking business. You know, sometimes when you're dealing with it at a city level or a state level, it's at a whole different arena, but through our economic development fund that we have with the Greater Irving Las Colinas Chamber, they do an outstanding job.
Well, let's go over some of those results from the partnership. 5.8 million square feet of commercial space leased, $435 million in capital investment, and that's along with other big investments announced for the next fiscal year. More than 11,000 jobs, 11,590 direct jobs, more than half are new jobs, about 6,000 new jobs, and 5,558 retained jobs as well. E-commerce, as we know, was vital before the pandemic, underscored now because a lot of people are turning to e-commerce even more, keep things moving and get the goods and the services that they need. The industrial sector has grown, the tech sector has grown. Let's take a look now at some of the new businesses and jobs that Irving attracted in just the last year in this video piece.
Irving is a great city for business, first and foremost because of its location. The old real estate axiom, location, 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 is really true. But Irving is not only the heart of the Metroplex, but it's also what I call a 21st century port city. We're right here next to DFW Airport.
I also believe that our low tax rate and the fact that we take care of our city is a real plus for us.
We are trying to encourage everybody to build in our city. We have a very attractive location, so it seems like everybody just keeps on wanting to come into the city.
Among the 2020 economic wins are Heritage Auctions. It's the largest auction house founded in the U.S., and it consolidated its world headquarters in Irving. The American Athletic Conference relocated its headquarters from Rhode Island to Irving. Astura Medical moved from California to Irving. Uline signed a lease for a more than 1 million square foot warehouse. The company will bring 1,200 jobs. Meal kit company HelloFresh opened its largest U.S. center in Irving. And our city will be home to the second headquarters for Neighborly. 200 jobs are expected. Fuzzy's Taco Shop moved its headquarters to Irving. And the largest realtor association in North Texas, MetroTex, is also moving its headquarters to Irving.
It's always exciting when we get to welcome a new business home to Irving Las Colinas. Growing our tax base is critical for our community's future success. Equally important is retaining our 70+% commercial tax base right here at home in Irving.
Among those retentions, Abbott is keeping 800 jobs, adding 200 more, and making a $36 million capital investment. Michael's companies will keep more than 400 jobs here. JPI and Accenture also recommitted. Microsoft is staying here and expanding. The company is adding 575 new jobs and making a $31 million capital investment. The Irving campus is Microsoft's second largest globally. Both before COVID restrictions and during, Irving continued to attract new restaurants, offering more of the world's flavors.
We really are connected to the city of Irving, its diversity. We've had restaurants that have been tremendously successful here. The business corridor in Las Colinas, even through COVID, has been wonderful to us, great for lunch business, and the proximity to the airport. We couldn't be happier to be in Irving.
And even in these challenging times for the hospitality industry, existing hotels completed major renovation projects. Irving is also seeing new hotel construction, with developers optimistic about the eventual return of business travel.
There's still a lot of things on the city's horizon that are worth waiting for, and so I'd like the opportunity to build those messages.
Irving is proud to be known as the headquarters of headquarters. Mayor, I know you love to talk about that, because Irving has more Fortune 1000 headquarters per capita than any other city in Texas. And I know you're particularly grateful for the Fortune 500 companies you've got here, the Fortune 1000s.
Yeah, we're excited to be able to have a corporate base that we have here in the city of Irving, and we work daily to make sure that they have the needs that they want. Vistra is, we're excited for what you're doing in our community. Building that it needed to be redone, and you're spending tremendous amount of dollars in there and making a commitment to bring a huge corporate community base to our city. And we appreciate that very much. You know, one of the great things I get to do is every once in a while I get to talk to the CEOs of these companies, McKesson and Exxon and others that are part of it, and really give them the thanks that they deserve for being in our community.
Let's turn now to COVID again, but more specifically to talk about public safety and the public safety departments, how they were affected in the past year. And let's start with the police department, which is also getting some national recognition for its exceptional outreach into the community.
Well, we're fortunate to have Chief Spivey. Both our chiefs are individuals that have come through the ranks, so they're very aware of all the ins and outs of the city of Irving. But he's done a tremendous job of outreach within our community. When you look at what we've been able to do, especially during these challenging times, making sure that people are aware of what's going on through our PALS program with our youth, through our outreach with spousal abuse with our Family Advocacy Center. You know, one of the challenges we run into right now is that, and so making sure that people know there's a safe haven and there's a place where they can go. Outreach into the African American community with Shop Talk, as you spoke earlier, they've received national attention for that and their commitment with over 20 shops that they work with, and they go into as regularly almost every day and talk to the participants within there.
Well, Irving PD certainly is getting a lot of recognition as one of the more progressive departments in the nation. Let's go ahead and listen right now directly from Chief Spivey on some of the things that the department has been doing in the past year.
Our community is so diverse that we want to be forward-thinking and developing relationships and developing trust, and we do that through our community programs.
And I think our department has made significant strides there.
Through both virtual and in-person initiatives, Irving police officers are connecting with residents.
To have dialogue with people, just to get you to think about it.
The department continues to build upon the success of Shop Talk, a program that has officers visiting barbershops to build relationships with the African American community.
Hey, how you?
It expanded to now include beauty salons.
This is a very good initiative to get the conversations going.
I feel a lot safer here in the city of Irving.
Those relationships proved especially important when the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis put police across the country under scrutiny.
This is truly the most challenging time in policing there has ever been.
Through Shop Talk, Irving police had already built a relationship of trust.
You know, they didn't wait till something bad to happen to say, oh, let's have these conversations. We've always been having these conversations.
Why is it that so many people still get shot?
Along with that open dialogue, police also looked at their policies and got accepted to Georgetown University Law Center's ABLE project. ABLE stands for Active Bystandership for Law Enforcement.
We added a duty to intervene policy to our policy for protection of all human rights. And ABLE allows us now to put that into practice and give our officers the tools they need to step in and take action when needed.
The need for this team has never been greater.
After announcing the Mental Health Response Team in 2019, the department is already seeing results.
In 2020, the Irving Police Department became the first agency in Texas to be recognized with the International Association of Chiefs of Police One Mind Campaign certification. This recognition demonstrates our continuing efforts to build on the success of the Mental Health Response Team.
There are examples year-round of how the Irving Police Department is working to serve all residents.
Brad, we're also very proud of our fire department and all that they've gone through during these challenging times. The chief has done an outstanding job. Chief Conley, as I said earlier, has been with us through the ranks. And they had a lot of challenges when you start looking at the fact that they're dealing with the ambulance service, the paramedic service, and the challenges that they needed to make sure that when they pick people up, they had the proper protection and things of that nature. So we've been very fortunate to have a great fire department as well.
Well, let's turn to Fire Chief Victor Conley right now on video for him to go into some more details about exactly what the fire department was facing and how they tried to resolve the issues as they came up.
Nobody really knew what to expect from this disease. And that was the challenge part, right? And so we're first responders, we're paramedics, we're EMTs. We're expected to do something with something that nobody knows anything about.
When the coronavirus hit, the Irving Fire Department quickly adopted new policies and worked toward responding as safely as possible. Even so, a lot of personnel contracted COVID-19.
Well, we're still having them, so it's still ongoing. We average probably 8 to 10 per week.
And some of their work now is focusing on vaccination.
So there are so many things that these guys are doing that's just over and above what people should expect. So yeah, we're taking the vaccines, we're giving the vaccines.
Even as the virus raged,
the men in my station, we were heavily affected.
Recovered firefighters donated convalescent plasma through Carter Blood Care. The collected plasma was used to treat dozens of patients.
We wanted to do something proactive, so we're out here to kick a little COVID.
The virus prompted the department to suspend large-scale training exercises like this one from early in 2020 at the Irving Grand Prairie Joint Fire Training Facility.
What we want our residents around here to know, and any occupant that's in a commercial building, people that work here that don't live here, is that we're prepared to come for you if there's a fire. That's what we train for, that's what we live for, that's why we're here.
Singley Academy students considering careers in emergency service were also there to learn.
I always wanted to be a firefighter.
In the fall, Irving hosted the Firefighter Combat Challenge World Championship for the first time. It is a tough test of skill, strength, and determination.
If you can mentally push through that, there isn't anything on the fire ground that would challenge you. You don't think twice about it.
That's how you work hard.
And making sure we're in the top physical performance we can be, so when that bell goes off, we're ready to go.
The event drew firefighters from as far away as Kuwait, and the Irving Fire Department wants to host it here again. But next up,
the community's been wanting this station for years.
Irving's new Station 4 at Toller Lane and Bedker Street is expected to improve response times and have space for more modern apparatus that would simply not fit in the 60-year-old current Station 4. But that will all change in the new building.
It's got a lot of neat features in it, primarily cancer prevention features. Say they have a big structure fire and there's carcinogens on their bunker gear. We have extractors in the station, and which is high-powered washing machines, and they wash their bunker gear according to standards.
That is just one of the features that is expected to get even more attention with the station's expected opening in March.
We're extremely excited about Station 4 opening up. I think the community is.
So we really want to give a lot of credit in Irving to the first responders and fire and police and all they've done here. In the last year, having to adapt on the fly to the pandemic and keeping people safe and keeping themselves safe as well. But we also want to give a shout out to the teachers in Irving too, and all they've been doing, and administrators in the schools, because I know that you have a real soft spot in your heart to make sure that the children in Irving are getting all the care that they need as well. So we want to make sure that we say thank you to teachers and administrators in Irving, Coppell, Carrollton, Farmers Branch ISDs. They've had a lot of true challenges as well.
Well, again, the teachers, I can't thank them enough for what they've had to go through. I mean, our kids ended the school year not being in the classrooms, and they started the school year not being in the classrooms. And so it was a real change for them to figure out how they were going to educate. And our teachers went above and beyond, putting together videos and through different ways to make sure that the kids were entertained and that they learned and that they actually were able to have a sense of a school going on in their commitment. Their lives of the kids were changed in so many ways. While the schools were one of them, there were also things as we closed down our rec centers, our libraries, and things of that nature. They were not able to do that as well. So I really felt for the kids in Irving this last year as they've gone through these different things, from the challenges with education to the challenges with not being able to be on the ball team with their friends and do the things that they normally do, go swimming together. But we've tried to do some things to make it a little more enjoyable. So kudos to our recs and our people for putting together different projects across the city. Our libraries, our rec centers have done some outstanding things to make sure that these kids have something to do. So please go to our website and check that out. I think you'll be impressed.
Well, let's take a look at this video piece of exactly some of the programs that did continue to try to help young people out.
Check out Erie Irving Park. City employees transformed Trinity View Park into a safer but still spooky site to celebrate Halloween.
We weren't going to go out anywhere, so this kind of helped benefit, the kids and things like that.
Would you like some treats?
Yes, please.
All right, I have plenty of treats for all of you.
Wow, this is so spooky.
It's just one example of how Irving is offering programs and support for children.
The city is really trying to do everything we can to provide those quality of life products and entertainment for our residents. And we want to make sure that we raise that bar and we set that expectations for them, that they know that in Irving we're going to provide events for them that are worth coming out to and they're top quality.
The Parks and Rec Department launched other new events such as Neon Nights Disc Golf that can be fun while distanced, along with a wide range of virtual classes to help keep people active, and a series of small pop-up activities in local parks.
Everybody on our team is pretty much really creative and imaginative.
The Parks team also hosted special events such as a real-life Clue mystery game. A virtual 4th of July celebration produced by ICTN attracted more than 10,000 viewers so people could enjoy some local holiday traditions safe at home. And Chalk the Block gave participants a chance to show off their creativity and neighborhood pride.
This is a very awesome idea, especially for the kids. Everyone from the family, they can participate.
The Irving Public Library sees a lot of interest in its Girls Who Code classes. This year, they continued virtually.
Hi, it's Miss Annette with another Story Bite.
The library also offers virtual story times and other activities to help keep kids engaged and promote interest in education and reading. Check out this story walk. It allowed young people to enjoy a park and a book at the same time. Early in the year, the South Irving Library hosted the African American Read-In. In early 2020, the Irving Arts Center hosted its annual Elementary Art Show, a chance to showcase budding talent.
I try to put details in it like what usually people don't really do.
And as the pandemic took hold, the Arts Center adapted its Second Sunday Fun Day program and offered activity packets to go.
Today's project is called an ornament spinner.
The Arts Center also offered online programs to give kids a creative outlet while at home. The city supports the Irving Schools Foundation's Supplies for Success program, which helps kids start the school year with the supplies they need.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see just everyone helping us.
The business community is also involved in supporting youth. In early 2020, Verizon opened an innovative learning lab at Austin Middle School. Then later, it provided even more tablets to local students. In January 2020, Pioneer Natural Resources joined partners to invite 300 girls to its new Irving headquarters for Power to the Girl.
This event is part of Pioneer, not only focusing internally in building the diversity and inclusion emphasis at the company, but it's also focusing externally and being a key part of our community.
Those are just some examples of how Irving is helping young people develop and thrive.
And Mayor, I know that you really want to make sure that people know that the city is there to serve them at all times for all the programs that are out there.
Yeah, and they are so important to us. We're so fortunate to have good quality programs for our residents to be part of, and make sure that they participate in those if they can. It's been an interesting year. There's been a lot of challenges. I want to thank you for your time with us today.
Oh, certainly.
I want to thank those people who came and joined us virtually, and I want to thank the Chamber for all that they've done. It's been a great year, even with all the challenges. Challenges make us strong, and we are a strong community.
Kind of underscoring that is really the theme now in Irving. We're together today for a stronger tomorrow. And of course, thank you very much, Mayor, for being here today and for your leadership. I also want to make sure that we thank again and recognize our sponsors for today, of course, TXU Energy as the presenting sponsor today for today's event. And thank you also to the great team, Beth Bowman and her fantastic team at the Greater Irving Las Colinas Chamber of Commerce, in conjunction with the City of Irving, for hosting today's program. A great job and a great production. We hope you all have enjoyed it very much, and we thank you all for being with us today.